had an opportunity to explain some things to everybody about the way I teach in an international school. I'm teaching 8th grade jewelry trade level and also 9 and 10 trade level. I'm there 2 days a week, and I have both classes each of the 2 days. I'm there on a Tuesday and on a Friday. It's pretty weird, but I love teaching there. I'm having a wonderful time. This instrument that I have in my hand is an electronic caliber, and we use it to measure the thickness of metal. And this machine here is a rolling machine. When I bought it, it was about 75 to 80,000 baht, and now this machine is selling for over 100,000 baht. No surprise. I've had this machine 10 years, and it stood up to tons of work of rolling. What this machine does, on this side it rolls flat metal, sheet metal, and on this side over here it makes rod and almost wire. You could consider the thinnest areas to make wire. This machine allows me to roll silver and gold and other valuable metals to any thickness. I can make rod, and I can make wire, and I can make sheet with it. And we have the same machine at school, and it's a crank machine, and the students have to crank it. It takes so much effort. It has to be set lower and lower the rollers to make the metal thinner. And the students generally turn these keys on top too much, and they make a lot of work for themselves, because we just turn it a fifth or an eighth of a turn, it will roll metal thinner, but you gotta just do it slower. And as the metal goes through this machine, the molecules get packed up against each other, and the metal gets hard. Metal is springy, so there's tempered. And tempered sounds, it just happens to sound that word just like it is. Tempered sounds like angry, right? Something that might be angry. Well, the metal becomes resistant to bending, and it becomes springy and hard to work with. So one of the students' constant jobs is taking a can torch or a little blow torch and heating the metal up and softening it and making it softer. And you have to keep doing that, because as you work, the metal becomes something called work hardened. And this is a constant thing in the student's life making jewelry, is annealing. So annealing is done over and over again. And some of the kids don't even hold on to the word annealing, which is very important. So it has two states of metal. When the metal is annealed, it's soft, and the other state is when it's rolled, it's hard. And this machine makes the metal very, very hard. It is a 4 horsepower, a 3.5 horsepower motor in the bottom of this machine, and it's too dangerous for the classroom. So if I turn it on, these rollers are turning. If God forbid, if you ever caught your fingers in this, you're done, because you're going to be pulled through the machine and you're going to be turned into a liquid. So this is impossible for me to have a machine like this in the classroom. Even though I would train kids not to use it, I would do it for them, but still it remains a threat in the classroom. What I do is I bring this with me every day, and it represents hours of work. And what I do is pre-roll the metal for the students. Since the students buy granular form of silver, it's 100% silver, they pay me back for the rolled piece that they need. So if I open this, it's got a big reminder. It says, pay attention. And the reason for that is that the students take this metal when they need it, but they don't have any idea that they have to pay me back or remember to pay me back. So I have in this box, which is one of these locking tops. Now it says all of this is precious metal in this box, and if you take any, you have to replace it with the metal that you bought, and they buy 2,000 baht worth of metal. So in here is all pre-rolled metal. There's sheet metal. There's wire that I made. Can't tell you how long it takes to make that. And there's a bezel material for going around stones. This is what we would call bezel material. And then there's short pieces for ring stock, about 15 gauge. So when they want to make a ring, they don't have to do all the rolling that's necessary. But 4,000 years of jewelry and metal had to be rolled into shape, whether it was gold or silver. And of course they didn't have big machines then, they had to make them, and the machines were so precious at that time, you know. But up to even 400 years ago, people had to roll metal to make it into stock in order to make the elements of jewelry. So gold and silver was always rolled like that. Now, it's a real courtesy that I do for the kids, and I'm here in the studio melting their metal down, or my own metal, and then making an ingot outside on the balcony here. I have a forge, and I have LPG and oxygen and a big torch and a crucible, and I melt the silver down to liquid form, pour it into these steel ingot molds. There's one for sheet and there's one for wire and rod. So I do both, and it costs me a weekend of getting the metal ready for my classes. So nothing is, they pretty much work from scratch, but this part of it is so difficult, and the time limit of a class is 90 minutes. So by the time they roll their metal out, they're too tired to work. So I pre-roll their metal for them. And this box is something that I bring in every day. And there's a sign right behind the box standing up like this to remind them that they must weigh anything they take and replace it, because there's money. And if you ask me how much money is involved in this box, you're looking out about $75,000 to $80,000 worth of metal. So this is a lot of metal, a lot of silver metal in the box. So it's very precious, very expensive, and that's probably why there's no trade level courses in any international school except mine that teaches with precious metal. 5.2. So it's got a little copper in it. It's not worth what this is worth. This is all 100% pure silver.